it's a wonderful exploration. I think it's between the world of sound and the world of silence, but through a character that really, is impacted by it. Is that a good definition? If you can comment on that.
Absolutely, it's a good definition. I mean, I think that it begs us to go on this journey with this character, and and go on it and be on it in a very physical way. And that was a really high bar that we set years ago, and just really dared the universe to allow us to do. And it really required having actors like an actor like Riz and Paul and Olivia and all of the deaf cast that were so extraordinary that you can't take your eyes off of them.
I really like the fact, for me, it was very interesting. The whole story is still, you told the story from the Ruben's perspective, Riz, first person. I mean, so in a way, it produces a lot of empathy, and you can identify with the character.
Yeah. I think that's exactly right. I always thought of it as like an empathy machine. It's like but it's grueling. It's a much harder way to tell a story, actually, because you can't cut away. When you commit to a language, you have to stay in that language. And so it creates a very high resonance because Riz is in every single frame. And therefore it's this very intense focus throughout the whole shoot. And I think it can really raise a frequency, but it's like playing with fire because you have nowhere to hide.
From screenwriting to directing, why did you choose directing? And this is your first fictional.
Yeah, I directed a doc in 2008 that I worked on for a very long time. And I actually never got into this game to just write. I was always directing. So the writing for me, I've had a wonderful time writing with my dear friend Derek C. in France, who's involved in this film also. And but that's not really my end game here. Writing for film is interesting because it's like a blueprint. It's not a final product. Directing is very important to me, always has been.
Do you think the pandemic is giving independent filmmakers and stories that are more passionate a space because the audiences, we're more open to watch more movies and we're not invaded by blockbusters?
Yeah, maybe people are actually watching good movies. That's great.
So in a way it's good, right? I mean,
I think it's good, and I think it's important to remember. I've read a lot of articles right now about that and how independent movies are being seen and everything. And I think it is wonderful, and I also think it's important to remember that these indie filmmakers and all these filmmakers that we're seeing right now, and Nomadland and Minari and all these great films and fantastic directors, we're always here working, and these films are the really extraordinary films every year, and this is no exception. It's just that the other ones bowed out, but they're always my favorite films.